So you guys, I've already seen this video right here. Yeah, how Roblox is exploding young game developers. Insane. By the way, shout out to my patrons. I love you cuties. Love you cuties. And subscribe, guys, if you enjoy the video, and sending out a lot of love. And remember, take fate into your own hands. Take fate into your own hands. Let's get that over there. Let's take this off the list because I've already watched it. And let's do the laws you won't be told.
On a jury, you know,
By CPG or CGP. I always do that. CPG. He should have been in an alternate universe. He's CPG gray, or maybe he's CPG blue or black. But this is CGP gray. Shout out to you, and thank you guys for recommending this to me. And let's get into it, guys. Let's go.
on a jury, you know your options, guilty or not. But there's another choice that neither the judge nor the lawyers will tell you.
Let's restart this video and let me talk about something which is so cool. Is I talked with a very lovely God in this game about that right there. And think about the justice system. Just ice. Think about that word and then get back to me.
On a jury, you know your options, guilty or not. But there's another choice that neither the judge nor the lawyers will tell you, often because they're not allowed to, and also because it might be better if you don't know. This video will tell you that third choice, but be warned, simply watching may prevent you from ever serving on a jury. So this is your last chance to hit the pause button before you learn.
Oh my gosh. Really? I don't give a shit.
Jury nullification, when the defendant is 100% beyond a reasonable doubt guilty, but the jurors also think he shouldn't be punished. The jury can nullify the law and let him go free. But before you're on your next jury and yell, no.
Wait. I felt like I knew this exists. I felt like this is kind of like a common sense thing. Cause I was like, how can you be called in for jury duty, but you technically have like no power? Well, I don't know if you necessarily like you're supposed to. I don't know. Okay.
Null booyah at the judge. You should know that
no
talking
booyah.
About jury nullification in the wrong circumstances can get you arrested. Though a video such
of course it can
as this one, simply acknowledging the existence of jury nullification and in no way advocating it, is totally okay. And while we're at it, CGP Grey is not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is meant for entertainment purposes only. Seriously, guy, don't do anything in a court of law based on what an internet video told you. No joke. So why can't you do this?
I love that. I love that disclaimer.
It's because nullification isn't in the law, but exists as a logical consequence of two other laws. First, the juries can't be punished for a wrong decision, no matter what the witnesses, DNA evidence, or video proof show. That's the point of a jury, to be the final decider. And second, when a defendant is found not guilty, that defendant can't be tried again for the same crime. So there are only two stated options, guilty or not. It's just that jury nullification is when the words of the jurors don't match their thoughts, for which they can't be punished, and their not guilty decision can't be changed. These laws are necessary for juries to exist within a fair system, but the logical consequence is contentious. Lawyers and judges argue about jury nullification like physicists argue about quantum mechanics. Both are difficult to observe, and the interpretation of both has a
so easy to see Albert Einstein, but I don't know who this is.
Huge philosophical.
Shouldn't I have to argue about quantum physics, though? I mean, shouldn't I have to argue? Arguing is pointless, man. All truths are half truths. Just go with what you believe and understand that you are constantly creating your reality with the thoughts that you focus on and choose to believe in your self-concept of yourself and law of attraction and 7 laws of 2D, blah, 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 like the law of gravity, but okay.
Ramification for the subject as a whole. Is jury nullification the righteous will of the people, or an anarchy of 12, or just how citizens judge their laws? The go-to example in favor of nullification is the fugitive slave law, when northern juries refuse to convict escaped slaves and set them free. Can't argue with that. But the anarchy side is southern juries refusing to convict lynch mobs, not humanity at its best. But both of these are juries nullifying the law. And also, juries have two options for where their thoughts may differ from their words. Jury nullification usually refers to the non-guilty version, but juries can convict without evidence just as easily as they can acquit in spite of it. This is jury nullification too, and the jurors are protected by the first rule, though the second doesn't apply, and judges do have the power to overrule a guilty verdict if they think the jurors are in the best. And of course, a guilty defendant can appeal, at least for a little while, which makes the guilty form of jury nullification weaker than the not guilty kind. hold comfort, though. Given the possibility of jurors who might ignore the law as written, it's not surprising when picking jurors for a trial, lawyers, whose existence is dependent on an orderly society, will ask about nullification, usually in the slightly roundabout way. Do you have any beliefs that might prevent you from making a decision based strictly on the law? If, after learning about jury nullification, you think it's a good idea, answer yes and you'll be rejected, but answer no with the intent to get on the jury to nullify and you've just committed perjury, technically a federal crime, which makes the optimal strategy once on a jury to zip it. But this introduces a problem for jurors who intend to nullify. Telling the other 11 angry men about your position is risky, which makes nullification as a tool for fixing unjust laws nationwide problematic. Not to mention about 95% of criminal charges in the United States never make it to trial and rather end in a plea bargain, but that's a story for another time. The only question about jury nullification that may matter in the end is if jurors should be told about it, and the courts are near universal in their decision, no way. Which, again, might seem self-interested. Courts do depend on the law, but there's evidence that telling jurors about nullification changes the way they vote by making evidence less relevant to them, which isn't surprising. That's what nullification is. But mock trials also show sympathetic defendants get more non-guilty verdicts and unsympathetic defendants get more guilty verdicts in front of jurors who were explicitly told about nullification compared to those who weren't, which sounds bad, but it's also easy to imagine situations where jurors blindly following the law would be terribly unjust. In the end, righteous will of the people, or anarchy, or citizen lawmaking, the system leaves you to decide, but as long as courts are fair, they require these rules, so jury nullification will always
be with us. Yeah, they require these rules. That's really cool. But now that I know, oh man, now if I oh no, let me see the comments for this one. I'll check them here. See what the comments are. We define the defendant not guilty, prosecutor, but the defendant admitted guilt while in custody, jury. Well, we disagree with the defendant. If I get trialed for advocating jury nullification, the jury in my trial would learn about it, and perhaps if I'm sympathetic enough, they'd also nullify the law and set me free. Don't count on it, Snoopy. I'm weak. They said that's brilliant. That would be really funny if that happened. Can't wait to get calls for jury duty and say the phrase jury nullification bottom text. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. Imagine getting put on trial for saying jury nullification out loud, and then they have to say, and then in the court trial, what you're being tried for, and then imagine the jury wanting an explanation from the judge on what jury nullification is, and then they proceed to use it against you. That is some moves. All right, much moonlight and love. Much love and moonlight. Shout out to CGP again, and shout out to the guys and gals sending me these lovely videos to react to. Shout out to my Patreon. I'm out of here. Peace.